Kia ora and a huge welcome to you, our LBC community, our fellow colleagues and our presenter, Tracey Hancock. My name is Zoe Anderson and I'm the support coordinator for the Midlands region. And when I'm not working from home, I'm based in the Hamilton office. Tracey Hancock is a life coach based here in Te Awamutu, and some of you may have heard her speak before at other LBC events. Tracey teaches people tools and mindset strategies to navigate the twists and turns of life. And those twists and turns can be small everyday accounts or big things like being diagnosed with a blood cancer. And what we're doing right now, facing the pandemic. Having faced a number of big life events, including being diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma in 2015, Tracey isn't just sharing theories with us today, she is sharing strategies and tools that have been well tested. Tracey guides people to get greater clarity about who they are and what they value. She teaches the skills needed to map out your next steps and empower you to feel more confident about taking action. All of these are key to feeling stronger and more in control. You can ask Tracey questions during the session by clicking the Q&A icon at the bottom of your screen, and she will answer these at the end of our presentation. So with gratitude, I will pass you on to today's LBC webinar presenter, Tracey Hancock.
Oh, wow. Thanks, Zoe. Thank you for that welcome. It's always interesting setting up one of these, isn't it? Because there's the formalities of getting everyone in technically and making sure we're all okay and can hear and listen, and those introductions as well. But really, I want this to be, this session is all about you. So as Zoe mentioned, you've got that chat feature there. By all means, please be popping things in the chat as we go. And although I've got some things to share, I also want to make sure that we're addressing any issues and concerns that you have. So please don't feel like this is all one-way traffic. I appreciate that it perhaps feels like that at the moment, but make use of that chat box, because my goal here today is for you to know that you're very much seen and heard, that you're supported and you're connected to an incredible community. And I'm got some tools and some tips to share with you, but I want to make sure that they're the best ones for you at this time. So please make sure you use that chat feature. We'll keep an eye on that. I just want to say, if I look up, I've got a screen above me, so I've just got some notes because I can go off track, and I've also got some notes beside me, okay, just to keep me on the straight and narrow. So I really appreciate this opportunity to connect in with you, because I mean, this pandemic, it's pretty scary. And the move into lockdown last week, well, some people perhaps saw it coming. For others, it might have been a bit of a shock. So we're probably all in different phases and stages of processing the events of last week. And I think we need to be mindful that that's on top of any sort of worries and concerns and stresses you were already experiencing. So there's probably a few layers of things going on for you, and we really want to tap into those. So I want to acknowledge you for coming along today and for looking for ways to support yourself even better, because we are in our own little bubbles at the moment. But with Zoe and I here today, we hope that we're all in a virtual bubble, and we're here to take really good care of you and impart some wisdom, some sharing, but also to remind you of your own capabilities. So Zoe, to you, as we're going, if you have any comments or questions you want to throw in, please just speak. Don't worry about it. If you just speak, okay, that'll be okay. Because I think you obviously interact with people regularly, and you'll be able to throw in some gems of wisdom as well. So don't be a wallflower, my love.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome. So I don't know how your morning's been. Maybe it's been really busy in terms of you being rushing around home doing stuff. Maybe you've been resting. Maybe you've been quite worried. I want you just to think about how your morning's been so far. And I just wonder if for now, whatever has been going on today, if you could bring your attention even more to this moment. And if you could just allow yourself permission to be here now and to give yourself this opportunity, this space to connect with your own wisdom, to listen to what's being shared, to maybe pick up some ideas, and really, and I know it can be hard sometimes to put any worries aside, but maybe if we could just try, just attempt to put them to one side for a moment. And you're here with Zoe and I, we're creating this beautiful virtual bubble. And so if we can just kind of settle into our seats, if you need to jiggle around, I'll probably jiggle a little bit, but just jiggle around, get comfy, and maybe just take a few breaths as well, because if you've been feeling scared and unsettled, that would be so completely understandable. It's a natural and normal response to any significant event, and by golly, what we're facing now certainly is a significant event. And as I mentioned, that's on top of you already having an illness and concerns and worries associated with that. So just ask you just to get comfy in your seat, just to let go of whatever's been going on in the day and just be really present here now. And I think that's a beautiful place for us to start. It's one of the things that I'd love to share with you. And this might be something you already do. So if you already have a practice of pausing and breathing, then just do what you know is right for you. But if you're new to this concept of using your breath to help you calm yourself down, I'm just going to start with that. And then I'll give a little bit more of a framework of what we'll cover in the session. So your breath is the most incredible tool for calming yourself in any situation. And it's not fancy, it's not something only a few people can do. You don't need any special equipment. It's simply about focusing on your breath. And we don't need to take any big breaths like, we don't need any of that. We just want to breathe gently in through our nose and all the way to our belly if we can, and just let that go in and out. So as I said, you don't need any special equipment for this. But people often underestimate the power of their breath when they're feeling stressed, under pressure, feeling scared. It's incredibly powerful, and it really just signals to our body that it's okay to relax. It's okay to just calm our system down a little bit. And that's important, because when we're calmer, we're better able to figure out what we need. We're better able to take in information. So if you could just focus on your breath and just bring those beautiful inhales and cycle out with an exhale, and just focus on that. So today I've got probably 4 or 5 tools that I wanted to share with you. And you may be doing some of these things already. Maybe you've forgotten about them and you go, oh, of course I should have been doing that. Or maybe there's a new to you. I've chosen these tools because they're really powerful if we ever feel stressed or uncertain, if we're feeling really challenged. They're things that we can do as we need them, and the things that we can put into place on a regular basis. So as I share these, I'd love to hear in the chat, like, are these things that you do? What have you done in particular that's worked really well for you? Share any of those tips, and what I'll do is I'll just pick up on any of those. I'll keep an eye on that corner there. So the things that I want to share is the pausing and the breathing, which we've just talked about, and we'll talk some more about that. I want to talk about the power of acknowledging your thoughts and feelings, and realizing that what you feel is what you feel, and it's okay. It's okay to feel what you feel. And so often we push that aside. So I want to talk about that. It's really important. Language, for anyone that's heard me speak before, we want to talk about language. It's so important to be conscious of what we're saying. And rituals and routines as well. They are really important for helping us feel strong. So at the end of the session, what I want you to have is either affirmation or confirmation that what you're already doing, yeah, good, keep doing it, because that's really useful. Maybe you've learned some new things, which is awesome, that you'll go away and try. And ultimately, this is with a view to helping you feel stronger, maybe less stressed, less scared, less fearful, however it is you're feeling. Wow. So does that sound okay? Remember, you can let me know. Zoe, is there anything else you think I need to throw in there at this stage, or we're all good?
No, I think that's perfect. And we don't have any questions yet, Tracey, and when they do come up, I'll let you know.
Cool. All right, now don't be shy. Don't leave me hanging without questions, okay? You put them up for any comments, anything. I was thinking this morning about years ago I went to Outward Bound, and one of the things we used to do every morning was ask each other how we were feeling, and we did this as a group. And I want to share with you this tool because it's a really, really powerful tool. So on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 was I'm pumped, I'm amped, I'm in a great space, I'm all systems go. And 1 was I am struggling, I feel overwhelmed, I'm scared, I don't know what to do, I'm very lost, very confused, really not in the right place. So we used the scale of 1 to 10. And we would each share how we were doing physically and how we were doing mentally and emotionally.
Sorry, Trace.
Yeah.
The sound's just gone muffled, so I'm not sure. Have you thrown a scarf on top of a computer microphone?
No, nothing's changed this end. Is it still muffled?
It's a bit better.
Hang on.
Team out there, does that sound better?
Shall I speak again?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Is that better?
Yeah, better. That's great. I'm getting good feedback.
Okay, sure. Okay, if that happens again, we'll switch to trying a headset.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so did we get the 1 to 10? Maybe not. Okay, so scale of 1 to 10. And we would ask ourselves how we were feeling physically and how we were feeling mentally and emotionally. The power of this is that we were able to then go, okay, so that's where I'm at, what do I need? So I just would love you to do that now and think about, particularly mentally and emotionally, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you at? How are you feeling? And if you want to, you're welcome to share that in the chat panel with me. But this is a great tool that you can use anytime, because what it does, it's just starting to engage the brain in a different way. It's focusing it to think about not so much the fear, it's just giving it something else to focus on. And that's going to be really, really powerful. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd love you to think about, how are you feeling? How are you feeling? And this isn't judgment going, oh my God, I'm only feeling a 3, that's terrible. No, it's not. I want you to feel what you feel. And I want you to keep that number in mind as we go through these things that I'm going to share with you, just to see if you notice some things that might help you shift that number, to shift how you're feeling. Okay, so there's no right or wrong. You don't have to be feeling a certain way. Just use a scale of 1 to 10 to get in touch with where you're at. Okay, hopefully that's a useful trick. Use it anytime you need to. So pausing and breathing. Zoe, do you have a breathing practice that you like?
When I do, it's normally the 4 in and 4 out. I know people do 6, but 6 is too much for me as an asthmatic, so I find 4 in and 4 out.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I do the unloved, loving, and lovable when I'm doing, breathing it in.
Mm-hmm.
Loved, loving, and lovable. All the way in, and then I do it all the way out.
Beautiful. Yeah. So there are those different ways of breathing. As Zoe said, you can count your breath in and count your breath out. And this is really powerful, because when we're stressed, our body's going into the fight, flight, or freeze state, which you're perhaps aware of. And so what happens when we're in that state is that we shallow breathe, and we're just in our chest. And that makes our body think, oh my God, they're stressed. So it's kind of like a vicious cycle. And you get more and more stressed, more and more scared, more and more worked up. But just as Zoe said, if you can breathe in and out and start to notice that pattern, get that rhythm going, what you do is you reduce the stress response. You reduce the flight, fight, and freeze response. So for anyone, whenever you're feeling triggered, overwhelmed, stressed, scared, the first thing I would recommend is to connect with your breath.
Sorry, Tracy, the sounds are muffled again. We've just had a couple of people message that in.
Let's see. Does this improve it? I'll have a look and see if I can get the headset going. Okay. Is that coming through any better?
Speak again?
Yep, speaking again. Is that coming through any better?
No, that's more echoey.
Okay, we'll take that out. Okay. Right, a lot quieter.
That's great. I've got like 6 people telling me, no, the headset is less clear. No, it's a lot quieter.
How's that? Go back here. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's when you're closer. Yeah, it sounds better.
If I come closer?
Yeah, I don't want you to have to sit on the table, but.
Okay, let's see how we go.
Right. Thanks, Tracy.
No worries. So, where are we at? Breathing in and out. Back to track and closer. Right. So, Zoe shared her breathing technique. You might have others. The key thing here is we just want to get that gentle rhythm and flow. Okay, really important. If it helps, you can put your hand on your heart, your hand on your stomach, just to give you something to orientate towards. Really, really powerful technique, okay? So, our thoughts and our feelings. I don't know about you, and maybe some of you will share. Have you got a lot going on in your head? Have you got a lot of thoughts racing around in your mind? And does it feel like you can't control them? Because again, that can be typical. It can be normal and natural when we face some news that's upsetting. So, if you don't already have a journaling practice, it's one of the things that I want to talk about now. And I know LBC have a journaling resource, don't they, Zoe? You have a journaling worksheet.
Yes. Yeah.
Perfect.
We do.
So you can use journaling to help you process those thoughts, because what happens when they're left in our minds, they just go round and round and round. And you know, have you ever noticed how you can get to the worst possible case scenario just like that? Like, oh my God, it's there. And this is your brain. And I want to share with you a brain fact. So what happens is your brain's wired to keep you alive. It is wired for survival. And it does that by 2 ways. So it does it by keeping all your bodily functions going. So your heart beating, you don't have to think about your heart beating, and you don't have to think about digestion. It takes care of that. The other thing that it does is it looks out for danger. And so when we get triggered, when we're scared, when we're stressed, your brain's going into hyperdrive, going, I have to protect my person. I've got to go into protection mode. And it does that by creating the worst case scenario. It gives you all the worst thoughts. So that's all happening in your mind. Now, when you start to write down what you're thinking and what you're worrying about, it's changing what's happening in your brain. It's letting it know, okay, hang on a minute, we're okay, and we can just bring that stress response down. We don't need to feel quite so scared. We can settle a little. We don't have to become completely calm yet. We can just bring that down. And this is because now the act of writing those things down, your brain's starting to process them to go, actually, what's going on there? Maybe that's not so bad as I thought. I think I can respond to that. That's okay. That's not really a worry. So left in your mind, those thoughts will just cycle. And if you've ever got stuck in your thought pattern, you know how it can just feel really constraining and like you don't know how to move through it. Now, if you're the sort of person who says, but I don't write, I'm not a writer, I've never been good at it, I don't like spelling, I don't like grammar, then please know that this isn't a grammar test. There's no spelling checks. You can use whatever abbreviated words you want, but the key is to get those worries out of your mind. And Leslie's just sharing that it happens to her. Yeah, so really useful to write things down, because what we're doing is we're depowering them. We're taking the power out of all those worries, and we're just letting our brain know, okay, we're okay. We're okay. So we're going to write them down. Now, that doesn't mean we've solved them. So for those of you who are jumping ahead going, but Tracey, that's not solved anything. What it's done is it's got them out of your head and down on paper. And because we've been focusing on our breath, we're feeling a bit calmer, and we can start to think about, okay, so what do I need to do? What do I need to do next? So there's a bit of a step here. We're going to check in and go, well, at 1 to 10 scale, how am I going? Where am I feeling? What am I feeling? Going to focus on our breath just so we get that bit of calm space. And then we're going to, excuse me, get those thoughts out of our head and down on paper. Okay, so remember, no spelling and grammar checks. You just need to get them down. The other thing we need to know about our thoughts is our thoughts drive our feelings. So if we're tied up in all our thoughts, what's going to happen is it's going to affect how we feel. So if in our mind we've got thoughts running around saying, I can't cope, I'll never get through this, oh, I don't know what to do, what happens is we're driving that sense of fear and stress, and it's also coming out in our actions, and we might get snappy and grouchy and just get frustrated with others, with ourselves. So how you feel is being driven by your thoughts. And this is a really cool trick, because when we start to understand the relationship, what you can do is, if you notice that you're feeling really scared, out of sorts, just a bit, notice what you're thinking. Notice what you're thinking, because there's a direct relationship between your thoughts and your feelings. Okay, so that's a pretty handy tip to know. Yeah?
Tracey, I've just got a question here.
Yeah.
Does this only work with writing, pen and paper? Or if people are comfortable typing, can they type out their thoughts and feelings?
So you could type. You could. The thing about writing is that it involves more processes. So you've got the act of holding the pen and of writing on the paper. You're seeing it and you're thinking it. When we're typing, we're not necessarily in as deep a connection with what we're writing. But if that's where you start, then I'm not going to say don't do it. But if you could also try writing, that will be really useful as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And look, remember, nobody's going to read this, what you write. So be really honest about what you write. Don't worry about that spelling and grammar. Doesn't need to make sense to anybody else. And look, if you sit down with a piece of paper and your pen and you go, I don't know what to write, this is stupid, then write that. I honestly, in my journal, I've got entries where I've got like half a page of, this is really dumb, what am I doing? I don't know what to say. And then somewhere along the line of me writing it, I've got to the issue of what's been in my mind. So yeah, stick with it, okay? Stick with it. It's a really, really useful practice to get into. It's a great way to process what's going on. Now, what I would suggest, if you're noticing some resistance around this, is like, well, what are you worried about? What is stopping you from doing the writing? What are you thinking? What's the resistance coming from? Notice that and then go, okay, I'm going to give it a go. I'm curious. This is where our mindset starts to become quite important. I'm curious about what would happen. I'm curious about what I might learn. So write that down. Now, one thing that might be in resistance is, but Tracey, I'm really stressed and I need the answer right now. So again, I'm going to say pause and breathe. Because when we're stressed, we are losing about 50% of our IQ. We're going into like a very reactionary state instead of a responsive state. So even though you're like all wound up and thinking, I've got to do something right now, I've got to solve this right now, the chances are you're not going to find your way through that very easily. And it's probably going to take you quite a bit of time. But have you ever noticed how, like, if you just get up and walk away, the answer comes to you? Or you go in, for me, it's in the shower. I stand in the shower and I go, oh my God, that's the answer. Like sometimes we just need to pause and breathe, write it down, and then it becomes clearer. And this works even when we're really, really stressed. We just need to practice it and we get better at it and it becomes more natural. And it does help you navigate your way through anything that you're facing. So I highly recommend trying journaling. If you're really resistant to writing anything on paper, then as Zoe said, type it into a computer and then just see if you can experiment with writing in a book at some point. Okay? Really useful. What else can I share about that? Let's talk about language. Because, oh my God, isn't there a whole lot of language being used at the moment? Lockdown. Social distancing. Oh, Zoe, you're laughing. You might be thinking some of the same things I'm thinking. Some of these words, hey, they're having an effect. And what I'm noticing in some of these calls that I'm doing is that people are really struggling with some of the language. And it's actually making them feel more stressed and more scared and more overwhelmed. So I'd really encourage you to become aware of the language you're using. And so we'll use those words I just mentioned, like lockdown and social distancing. So I've heard of some people reframing that or choosing another word, and instead of a lockdown, they're having a retreat, safekeeping, rahui I've heard been used. So if words are making you feel anxious, then give yourself permission to swap them out. Reframe them. Call it something else. And even though on the media you'll still see those terms, but if in your mind you start to go, oh no, this is my time to take care of myself, or whatever your word is, use it. Use the words right for you. Social distancing is also causing some people concern and some stress. So use a phrase that you prefer to use. So have you heard any alternatives being used to social distancing? I think there's physical distancing. There's one I've been hearing. One about space.
And lots of, I notice people keep like joking as well about just keep the broomstick between us.
Yeah. So
which is quite nice because that's, I don't know, it's a visual aid and it's like old school language as well.
Yeah, and it's keeping it real, isn't it? It's keeping it real and human, because I think some of these terms are kind of removing the humanness of the situation. So if there's words that you're finding stressful or just a bit overwhelming, then choose other words, reframe it, create another meaning for yourself. And that's absolutely allowable, because this is your journey and this is unique to all of us. So choose words that are empowering for you. Likewise, there are everyday words that we use that we might want to be aware of. Things like, I can't cope, I don't know what to do, this is too much. All those sorts of words and phrases disempower us. They make us feel like there's nothing that we can do, that we're powerless. And when we feel powerless, what happens? We drive up our stress and we feel more scared and more uncertain. So we want to become aware of the words we're using, those small words, because they're making a difference. So instead of, I can't cope with this, okay, well, maybe it's better to say, this is making me feel uncomfortable or scared. Okay, what can I do? What's the step that I need to take now? Because really all we need to worry about is like right now, what do I need to do now? So right now you're on this call with Zoe and I, so all you need to do is be present now to this call, listening out for anything that you go, oh, that was the gem I needed to hear today. And that's all you need to do right now. You don't need to be thinking about 10 years ago or tomorrow or 5 years in the future. Like, you can be just here now. So in terms of coping, you've just changed your picture about that, because we're just focusing on what we need to do now. So I can do this. I can do it one step at a time, one moment at a time. So those small words that you're using, notice if they're helping you or if they're causing you stress. So switching the, I can't cope, to, I can do this one moment at a time. Or I don't know what to do. Okay, what's the question that I have? What is it that I need to find out? Or what is it that would help me? Oh, gee, I'll pause and breathe. I'll just take a moment. I'll just take a moment to pause and breathe. And you go, that's it. I'm going to have a cup of tea. We don't have to solve the world peace. We just need to take things in small bites, small steps. And I know that, you'll have thoughts and questions about, oh my God, treatment, my health, what's happening, where am I going? It's like just one small step at a time. What do you need now? And use that language to help you. Empowered now. I don't know where that's coming from. Strange noises. So please watch your language. The big words that are being used in the media, if they're not working for you, swap them out, reframe them, and those small words that you're using as well, and those phrases. So, yeah, just set yourself up for success. Now, I want to just touch on a point in case anyone's getting a bit worried and going, oh, that Tracey chick, she's quite positive. I've got to be positive. And you'll probably see a lot of posts on social media. I have to be positive. And, if that comes naturally to you and that feels okay, then good. Go ahead. Do that. But I really encourage you, if you're struggling with that, be realistic. This is new territory for all of us. And as I said, you already had this underlying level of stress and uncertainty in your lives anyway. So maybe you just need to be realistic and go, actually today, I'm just not having a great day. Don't try and sugarcoat it and go, oh my God, I should be positive and I should be happy and I should be doing stuff. It's like, be realistic and go, actually today, I'm just not having a good day. I'm tired, I'm feeling uncertain. I'm a little grouchy. That's how it is. I'll work through some breathing, I'll do some journaling, I'll do some of those things. But please don't think that you've got to show up every day and be like this ball of energy and happy and everything's okay. Be realistic. Be realistic. Those going through treatment, you're going to be having days when you just feel like shit. Keep it real. Keep it real and do what's right for you. Oh, I see Tricia has suggested sheltering at home. Yeah, that's such a nice concept, isn't it? Sheltering at home. And, beautiful connotations of being at home. This is your safe place. This is your sanctuary, your space. So, yeah, beautiful use of language there. Yeah, love it. So, yeah, please don't think that in anything that I'm sharing, I'm telling you have to show up every day and be happy and positive and so on. Please keep it real. Be realistic. Think about what's best and right for you because you know you. I'd also encourage you to back yourself. You can do this one step at a time. You can imagine all those people out there who are having to, suddenly wash their hands all the time and be more thoughtful about, sharing germs and stuff. I mean, anyone that's been through a blood cancer journey is going to know what, you know, self-isolation or, you know, limiting contact, you know, all these good practices. God, you are streets ahead of other people. And I know it's not necessarily things that we want to be streets ahead of people in, but please don't underestimate, you know, you've got some basics in place that are a lot of people are having to grapple with and learn. So, yeah, amazing. Zoe and I talked about this very point the other day, going, you know, this community would have so much to share with other people about how to support yourself when you're at home and, you know, taking care of yourself to not spread bugs.
I joked, Tracey, with Stephen, my husband, about the LBC community, and then there's the muggles. Because muggles don't know how to self-isolate. They don't know about hand hygiene. They don't know about keeping their home safe and hygienic environment. Yeah.
So true.
I'm like, LBC's right up there, the patients. Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, and that probably leads nicely into the last thing I wanted to talk about, which was rituals and routines. You know, the things that make a difference in your day. So when we're stressed and we're feeling scared, one of the other things that we do is we forget about those things that matter to us, because we can get caught up in the thoughts and the emotion and the feelings. And we forget that, gee, I really enjoy that morning cup of tea in my favourite chair in the conservatory. Or, gosh, I really, you know, enjoy reading. Like, we can forget those things, and yet they make the world of difference. So when we're, you know, in these sorts of situations, remembering those routines and rituals that matter, and making sure they're being prioritised, making sure that you have those in place, because they are the things that help you feel strong. And when you feel strong, you're better able to cope with anything that comes along. Great for your immune system when you're feeling stronger, when you're feeling, you know, you've got that strength, you're more in control of your response. So, you know, whether it's, I know some of you might like to share your favourite routines and rituals. Maybe you have a yoga practice or a meditation practice, or, there's just some comments coming in about the the muggles. that is nice. And it's good to have a bit of a laugh, isn't it? This is a serious situation, but we are human, and so we do need a little laugh every now and then. Yeah, definitely. So, you know, rituals and routines, don't we? If you pray, if you like to read, if you like to cook, if you like to garden, if you like to connect with family online, you know, whatever it is, those rituals and routines, please make sure you know, put those in place, and they haven't been sort of lost in all the feelings and the situation that we've been in for the past few weeks. So I know for myself, like, I'm here talking to you. Oh, that's a bit hot. So I have a candle. Like, you know, when I'm talking about people online, like, I have a candle, and it's just such a beautiful, warming reminder, and I feel more connected. There's just something, I mean, I'm just trying to find those words. I just feel more sort of homely and relaxed and calm when I've got a candle burning. Zoe, have you got something that you like to do each day?
Well, Tracey, since talking to you about working from home, you know, setting up an office space in my lounge and having conversations with LBC patients and oodles of emails and lots of Zoom conversations, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's not like I feel like I've lost that. I come home to my safe place. So I've been doing what you do as well, and light a candle. And then when I finish my phone conversations, I blow it out and put it by the door that's open, and the smoke blows outside, and I say goodbye to that work day. Thank you for my work day, but goodbye. And I'm loving that, and I wouldn't have thought of it.
Beautiful. Yeah. And these sorts of things matter, and it doesn't matter, you know, how big or small they are. It's not about size. It's just about how it makes you feel. So, Leslie's sharing that, you know, she goes for a walk or a run in the early morning. Yeah, that's beautiful. And, you know, we're each going to be different. So Like I'm with you on that one. I love my morning walks as well. And I see Zoe out and about too doing morning walks. Not that we're getting close. So you're out
Wave to the window.
Wave to the window. But you're doing those things that make you feel strong. The other thing, what happens is they often go out the window. We're so stressed and wound up and scared that we don't realize that, oh my God, I haven't been for that walk for like 3 days, or I haven't eaten properly, or I used to really like reading before I went to bed and I've just forgotten it. Bring those routines and rituals back into your day, and they are going to help you feel stronger and more able to navigate anything that comes along. So as you can see, like I've quickly run through like those five tips, I think they were. So we did the check-in, the 1 to 10 scale, which you can use at any time. And so, I use that. I will come to that question in one sec, Sheree. Use that check-in, the pausing and breathing. Notice where your breathing's at. It's so powerful for calming the system. Understand and acknowledge your thoughts, and writing them down is really powerful, because remember, left in your mind, they will go round and round in circles, and they will go to the worst case scenario pretty quickly. Language. Watch the language you're using. Is it helping you or is it not? Is it empowering you or disempowering you? Does it make you feel more stressed or more calm? And again, this isn't about trying to be overly positive and everything's going to be, fabulous. And I've just got this image in my head of like American cheerleaders. We don't have to be like all bells and whistles. We just need to keep it real and watch that language is supporting us. And the rituals and routines that we need in our day that help us feel strong, that help us feel like we can navigate whatever comes up. Sheree, a great point about fears about the spread of the virus or any germs when you're out shopping, and then eating becomes a problem. So again, really, really useful, isn't it, just to write that down and go, okay, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm feeling. Oh, I just need to take a breath now so I can think about, well, what is it that I need to do? How can I get some help? Who could I talk to about that? What are some of those options? But if we're really, really stressed, it's really hard for us to work through those steps and figure out our way forward. Sorry, I moved back. And we don't want eating to become a problem, because the basics, like eating well, hydrating, resting, exercising, keeping connected, they're all so important. So if you think about any of those areas, like, how are you going? Have you got those covered, or are you struggling to eat? Are you staying hydrated? Do you need to carry your water bottle or a cup with you? Like, make sure that those foundation aspects of your health are being looked after as well. And you've got a fantastic support team to reach out to as well. Zoe, were you putting up your hand?
Yes, there's a question that's coming on the Q&A. Yeah. I've lost interest in cooking and making meals. Do you have any suggestions for me?
Wow. Okay, well, Zoe, you and I can do this together, eh? Because I know you love to cook and I do.
I love cooking. Yeah.
So interesting, the person that asked that question, do they typically like cooking? Do they enjoy food? And
I don't know, this is the only thing, that's just the one question that they've popped up.
Okay, so I'm just going to give a few questions, and then maybe Zoe, you and I can share some thoughts.
Right.
Because with a question like that, you've lost interest in cooking, it's like, okay, well, what's caused that? Is it because I'm really stressed? Okay, so what am I stressed about? And so just do a little bit of a thinking. And so what I like to say is, ask yourself 7 questions to see if you can get more detail. So things like, I've lost interest in cooking, and if I'm not eating, it's like, why have I lost interest in cooking? Maybe I'm tired or whatever. So you just keep asking yourself a question and you go, oh, I see. So we want to ask some more questions to get there. But Zoe, if we were just to talk generally about someone who's lost interest in cooking, what would your first suggestion be?
Oh my gosh, well, I'm thinking, is it because we are COVID-19 in our face with every single radio station and TV channel that you look at, and the mission about grocery shopping? So I'm grocery shopping for my family and my neighbour who's really elderly, and my elderly mum and dad. And there have been the restrictions on biscuits. So I'm like, but all old people, this lot, all like arrowroot biscuits. I'm like, well, I can only buy 2 packets. I'll have to be here every 3rd day. And then, you know, you go into the supermarket and you have to wipe everything down, and one in, one out with your trolley. So it's, and there was the 45-minute queue to get in. So it's quite stressful just to even get the food. Before I've even got it home to think about all the lovely things that I will cook, because as you know, I do like to cook.
Yes.
And I have great cookbooks as well, and I get messages from my friends about when you're going to cook for tea. So we're swapping recipes with each other. And I've just had a reminder, which is great, about the LBC. We sent out the email which has the password code for priority shopping for LBC families.
So just say
you can get the deliveries.
Yeah, so it's a great option, isn't it, to get those items into the house. I wonder if this person, for example, is quite an experimenter and likes a bit of a challenge. Would they like to challenge themselves to make something with something in the cupboard? Like do something, just try something.
Yeah.
So what I would say to that is, think about your strengths and your skills. How could you encourage yourself to do the cooking? And it is hard at the moment, isn't it? Because you can't get takeaways. Can't have like
no days off. That's
off.
just come up, hasn't it? No days off from cooking.
No days off.
Yeah. I do like I'm going to make something out of nothing. What can I make that I normally wouldn't make, because I've got half a packet of pasta here, or I've got this half a bag of risotto, but I don't have the other ingredients. So I'm swapping things out for other things, and you know, making new recipes.
Yeah. So another way to do it might be, maybe there's just too much pressure to be cooking. Maybe you just need to let go of the pressure and say, actually, what if today I just had toast with Marmite or toast with jam? So even though I said before, it's good to keep eating well, we also need to keep it real. And I think this is the other thing when we're under stress and feeling scared. We just need to look for ways to relieve some of that pressure we're putting on ourselves, because maybe we're saying, oh, I should be cooking from scratch and I should be cooking these amazing meals all the time. What if actually I just took the pressure off and I just went, actually, I just feel like having cereal for dinner.
Yeah. It's baked beans on toast.
Yeah. So just in this little chit chat, what I want to highlight is there's going to be more than one way to respond to all of the situations we're facing. And I want to encourage you to trust your own wisdom. Like, what do you know about yourself? How are you feeling? What are you thinking? What usually inspires you? What skills and strengths do you have? Are you putting yourself under pressure? Are you creating too many rules? And just listen to yourself and go, actually, I just need a break. I'm just going to take today. I'm going to have a toast cereal day. Great. Do that. But you really, really tune into you, what you know matters. If you know there's a dish that you really like, then maybe you'll say, tomorrow, that's my mission. Tomorrow I'm going to cook that dish that I really like. I happen to have all the ingredients. I'm going to cook that one as well. So look, there were a whole lot of ideas in there, and you can do this as well. Because if you pause and breathe, write down what's going on, maybe step away if you need to, notice the language you're using, and then go, if I was inspired to cook, what would I do? If I was inspired to eat, what would I do? So instead of saying, I'm not inspired to, or I can't, or I don't want to, if I was inspired to eat, if I was inspired to cook, what would it be? So this is the sort of process you can do with yourself as well.
And then make a double batch.
Yeah,
so
make it double
night
batch.
off.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love this suggestion from somebody at LBC, I think. You know, do the virtual connection and have a dinner online. I know I had a drink with a friend the other night, which was nice because I didn't have to worry about driving home because I'm a bit of a one drink wonder. It was handy. Interesting. I just want to pick up on Tamsin's comment there as well. A great opportunity not to feel guilty about watching Netflix and lying on the settee. And you know, guilt's a terrible thing, isn't it? We can, you know, beat ourselves up and go, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. I should be doing that. And really nothing good comes from it. Nothing good comes from beating ourselves up. If you feel like you need to lie on the couch and watch Netflix, then be all in. Be all in. Give yourself permission. I'm going to watch the TV for the next hour or two. That's what I'm going to do. Be all in. Because it's the guilt and the beating ourselves up. What does that drive? It drives up our stress levels. It drives up feeling overwhelmed, unable to cope, beating ourselves up. We're a bad person. Not helpful. Not helpful in any way, shape or form. If you're going to lie on the couch and watch Netflix, be all in. Do it with style. Get in there.
Absolutely.
Do it.
Yeah.
If you're going to, you know, get out in the garden, do it to the best of your ability. Be all in. Be present in that moment. And let's dump the guilt because it just isn't helpful. It isn't. It really isn't helpful. It does nothing to support our immune system. It does nothing to support our well-being. If you know that you've been lying on the couch for 3 days and you go, oh, okay, maybe it's time for a shift, you don't need to beat yourself up and go, oh, I just spent 3 days on the couch. You spent 3 days on the couch. It is what it is. What are you going to choose to do now? So for anyone who's been beating themselves up and feeling guilty, how about, there's a term, I can't think of it. We just call a truce on that, or no, there's another word. It'll come to me later. We just let that go. It is what it is.
I'm loving, Tracey. I've had a couple of phone calls with people and they have said, since this lockdown, yeah, you know, I'm sleeping in. You know, I'm getting really lazy. I'm like, yeah, no. Isn't this magic? We don't have to get up at the crack of, some of us don't have to get up at the crack of dawn.
Right.
And so we're learning to just relax a little bit because we're all so busy running around a hell of a lot of the time. So it's so nice to hear people say, I'm just going a bit slower, but letting ourselves do that. Go, this is lovely. My adrenaline is just totally leaving my body. I start the morning calm with cups of tea in the family.
Beautiful.
Not brush your hair, get in the car, school lunches, you know. So let's enjoy it, which is so hard, I think, for people.
And no guilt. Like, you know, change your routine, because what I'm noticing is, you know, people have been so tired for so long, and with what's happening because of how it affects us in so many ways, our bodies are actually needing some extra sleep. So, Tamsin's sharing she's a prison nurse. Yeah, the roads would be nice and clear. Oh, thank you for doing the work you do.
Thanks, Tamsin.
Yeah, really, really appreciate that. But I think this time is teaching us all that it's okay to slow down. Because here's the thing, even though, you know, you're all, you know, and I remember this when I was diagnosed with cancer as well, we still feel like we've got to be doing stuff. Like I should still be doing stuff. I still need to be, I don't know, busy. But actually right now, this is like the biggest permission slip ever, to slow down, to do what it is you need to do, what you want to do, to look after yourself. And so if we can let go of the guilt, and if we can moderate that feeling of being scared, of being stressed, if we can bring that down through some of these techniques we've talked about, imagine how you could use this time to really settle, to relax, to recharge, to just nurture yourself with love. And as I said, bring that stress down, bring down that emotion, and give yourself permission to look after yourself, to do what's right for you. Ditch the guilt, because that ain't helping at all. Yeah. Wow. So we've talked through some tips. Hopefully we've got people thinking about some things that they can do. And I guess, so if anyone feeds in sort of any questions or comments or wants to know more about anything we talked about, by all means let me know, and I can provide some further information. But
from the person who asked about the cooking, Trace,
yeah,
she's just written back and talked about the priority shopping, and it's still taking quite a long time, but they're going to give the experimental cooking thing a go. Awesome. And Goldie said, thanks so much for your time, Tracy, but I have to go now. Ka pai and thank you. And somebody else has said, I'm down to 1 meal a day, and that's really good.
Okay. Yeah, because it's going to be different for everyone. I've heard of quite a few people, and they're managing this, and it's right for them. It's not that they're skipping meals, but they're having 1 meal a day because it's just working really nicely for them. It's sort of that intermittent fasting type thing. It's so important to just do what's best and right for you, because there's a ton of advice out there. So if you can pause and breathe and sort of bring that stress down and feel calmer, you're going to know the best decision for you, because you're smart and capable. And holy heck, just think about everything you've already been through, in your life, in your cancer journey. You've got a tremendous wealth of skills to draw on, so much courage. So when you pause and breathe, you have so got this. You have so got this. And if I'm sending you all the love, the hugs, best wishes. And look, if you do need any further information, tips, or anything, just let the LBC team know, and I'll do what I can to provide some more. But yeah, go well, everyone. Giving you all a bit of
Thank you very much. Thank you, Tracy. It's been wonderful. Awesome. And just to our LBC community, please phone your support coordinators. We've all got our phones. We're working from home. If email is easier, or you would like a virtual meeting, just let your people know, and we will make that happen for you. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
All right. I think we're all up to date with our questions, and people are just typing in. Thank you so much, Tracy. Thank you so much. Brilliant, Tracy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
All right. See you later.
We'll see you next week. Thank you, Tracy.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. See you. Bye.
Bye.